Hey peeps, it's Tripl-L, and today I'm here to bring you my One Piece chapter 833, Vinsmoke Judge, my thoughts and my impressions. And guys, what can I say about this chapter besides I am so agitated. Oh man. So overall, because it's invoking such a emotional response in me, I'm just gonna say I very much do love this chapter. I mean, I've sat down and I've read it 6 times. I just keep reading it. I don't know what it is about this chapter, but I don't know if it's the combination of Sanji's like bad treatment by his brothers and his parents, or if it's just seeing Sanji like putting up a fight against Vinsmoke Judge, which I have a lot of thoughts about. This chapter is just, I very much enjoy it. It's almost all dedicated to this fight between Sanji and Vinsmoke, but throughout the whole chapter we're getting so much information out of the two of them that it's worthwhile. In terms of a battle chapter, it's giving us a lot to work with. So let's just talk some of the nice little revelations here, were that Sanji is actually a quadruplet. They were not born one at a time. No, they were all quadruplets. So that's pretty interesting. That's a kind of a wrench in the works. We got to see Yonji and we saw that Sanji did beat him up. So that was pretty cool. And we see that at least some of the family acknowledges that he has power. Vinsmoke Judge acknowledges his haki. Reiju kind of acknowledged that he was a bit sturdier than before. But man, this is the real crux of this chapter, is the fight and the flashbacks. And Joe, the flashbacks is like, no man, screw it, screw the Vinsmoke. I am almost completely sure that Sanji is way stronger than his brothers at this point. You know, I would want a situation where Sanji at least goes out of his way and defeats all his brothers and his father. You know what? Reiju's probably not going to get hurt because she's a girl. But hey, that's why we have Nami. That's why Nami's involved in this arc. Nami can deal with Reiju. Or maybe even Luffy could... no, he'll probably go somewhere else. But overall, this is just... I am infuriated for some reason. Like, this isn't cool at this point. I really want to see Vinsmoke fall. And his arrogance at the end, where he's calling Sanji a thing, or just a means to an end, that was just, any kind of sympathy I might have had towards the character last chapter has been squashed with this chapter. That's for sure. I very much dislike... you know, okay. I very much dislike them the way I should. But as characters, they are very good because they are making me feel this way. So I just want to point that out. But overall, I am not in... I am waiting. I'm just going to wait till Sanji goes out of his way and kicks their butt. And you know what? Throughout the whole chapter, and this is what I kept feeling every time I kept reading it, I feel like Sanji isn't going all out. And we kind of see this in what powers he's using and just his overall demeanor. If you look at the whole chapter, his cigarette's in his mouth, he's taking it pretty easy. He's like getting hit and he's just not really feeling any pain. Instead, he's just reminiscing. He even has the time while the guy's charging in at him to talk about, you know, what the heck, dad? What did you ever wonder, like maybe a kid didn't like what you did to him? And man, it's brutal seeing what his brothers did to him, and seeing that he was in that weird helmet in the dark, and the fact that he's still reminiscing about that as a kid, when he's like powering up with his Diablo Jambe and he's thinking about it's dark and creepy. That's just saying like he's still like pretty hurt over all this, and it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, he's saying that he's feeling nothing but hate for this man, but I think it's a weird kind of anger, right? It's a really tranquil kind of fury, and Sanji doesn't do well with tranquil fury. He's more of an explosive guy. That's why I'm pretty sure that at the end of the day, Sanji isn't going all out on this. And there's even a weird instance, once he gets knocked back, there's a black panel, like right where he's talking, right before he starts talking about, or asking his father if he thought, you know, what he ever thought about the way he raised him. And it's a really interesting panel because that black panel, I'm not sure what it is. It looks like it's a message box, but I'm really not sure what it could possibly be. And I'm thinking, if I want to see the Raws, if this little black message box appears in other Raws, then I'm going to assume that Sanji's saying something else under his breath. And if that's the case, because Sanji just doesn't look that like invested, the only time that he has some kind of serious kind of expression in terms of about to be defeated is when the guy gets stabbed by Judge. The guy, Judge calling in a wall, of course, that was something that he would totally do. That made sense with his character. when he called in the wall, that's the first time in this chapter you see Sanji with like a look other than anger. And it's more of a look of, oh God, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to hit these guys. So for that reason, and from the way that after that hit connects, that final hit, and the way that Sanji gets blown away with his cigarette falling out of his mouth, he doesn't look defeated. He just looks like sad and disappointed. That's all it looks like in terms of that chapter. And you can kind of see it throughout the chapter as well, where he thought he had thought that the Vinsmoke had become better over time, but he was wrong. So overall, that sense of disappointment is carrying through. And so what I'm hoping for is if that black message box panel, it's on page 18 of Manga Stream. It's a little black message box, and it's a message box, you can tell because it has a little tail on it. If that black message box is there to indicate that Sanji was saying something else at this moment in time, I would very much love a situation where Sanji just like curb stomps Judge, because I mean, why not? I really think Sanji's holding back here because he has the freedom, he has the luxury of reminiscing, because he has the time to, you know, question Judge's absent parenting style and question like just the horrible things that these people have done to him. I have to assume he wasn't going all out. And so now this has been set up in such a way that I am actively hoping to see Sanji get his revenge on every single person in that family. And man, if it happens, I'm going to be really happy. I really hope Luffy doesn't come in here and deal with Judge. I'm okay if the brothers are dealt with by other Straw Hats, but Judge, no. It's Sanji. Sanji has to deal with Judge. And possibly his other brother, what's his name? The first one, I really don't care. He's going down to... Overall, like, man, this chapter. Oh, there's other little touches too. In the beginning of the chapter when they were talking about Sanji feeding rats, I really thought, oh, I guess Sanji had a hobby of giving food to animals. But then later on in the chapter when they are commenting on Sanji's habits of still feeding rats, it makes sense. The rats aren't animals, they're really talking about commoners. They're calling commoners rats. Like, this is a pretty disgusting family. It makes sense with how we've seen nobles presented before. But that's interesting. I really want to see Judge get everything that's coming to him. And it's just, I'm sure Sanji can do it. Because even when Judge goes up into the air, Sanji's commenting on the irony of the situation. If Sanji has the freedom to have all these thoughts in the middle of a battle, it has to be because he's being held down by emotional baggage and he's just not taking it seriously. Even with his defeat at the end, there's no blood, he's not bleeding at any point. I just think Sanji is going to destroy these guys. But that's my overall rant on that matter. I'm pretty annoyed. I don't like these. I don't like the way they treated Sanji on this. I want to see Sanji just come back. Because right now, if Sanji does get his just desserts, if he does get his revenge, this chapter is an excellent build up for that moment. But if this fizzles out and Sanji doesn't get this closure and he doesn't like kick Judge's face in, this is gonna be just a pathetic chapter for Sanji. You know, that's overall how it feels. But I have faith in Oda. I think this is gonna be a good moment because, man, I'm going to enjoy seeing the day that Judge gets his helmet kicked into his face. Oh man, that'll be interesting. But okay, enough of the fight. Let's talk about other little aspects of the chapter. You know, Judge's characterization. We got that. We got Reiju kind of being impressed with Sanji. We got that Sanji's handcuffed now with those slave collars. The big question now is whether or not Sanji can haki his way out of the collars. Because, you know, really, it seems like the Vinsmoke family has this over-reliance on technology. You even have Judge going out of his way to say that war advances technology. So he's very much technologically based. And I want to think that the Vinsmoke actually do not have, you know, mastery of haki. Just because they're relying so much on technology. To the point that Judge is, you know, kind of, I guess, impressed that Sanji's using haki. So I'm hoping that there will be a situation like Rayleigh where Sanji he won't care about the bracelet on his hand. He'll probably haki his way out of it and then take advantage of like a penultimate moment to just screw everything up for Judge. Because that would be great. If we get like 4 chapters of say Sanji just pretending to be weak and then all of a sudden he breaks out of those cuffs and just be like, suck it, bitch, that'd be great. I'd love to see that kind of situation unfold, because I really do think Sanji has it in him. Sanji has it in him to be that devious. And let's see, the flashback chapter, you know, that whole segment was just hard to watch. Or just, it wasn't hard to watch. Well, I guess seeing Sanji crying when his dad's not even going to go in there to help him, that was kind of sad. Overall, like, it sucks that Sanji was treated that badly by his parents and his family, I guess. But I really just want to see where this is going to go from now. I really hope that this chapter is just here to serve the purpose of building up this intense kind of animosity towards the Vinsmoke, and that it will be paid off later. Because, man, I want to see Sanji kick butt. Let's see, what else? What else do we have in this chapter? You know what? I think that's going to be it for me. I think I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. Thank you for listening, guys. I don't think I have anything else I want to say. So yeah, you know, let me know what you thought of this chapter. Let me know if there's anything that I missed talking about that you kind of want to mention. Feel free to leave it down below. Overall, you know, I very much loved this chapter. It was really fun. It was fun to see the action shots. I think it was a pretty good fight overall. I think Judge's use of technology is interesting, but I ultimately think that's going to be his downfall when it comes to Sanji. Because, yeah, actually, if you look at it, one of the things that their technology gives the Vinsmoke the power to do is to fly and walk on water. But that's an ability that Sanji developed by himself. So naturally, by that virtue, I think Sanji's superior to them because he doesn't need technology to do this. So I want to see that kind of idea carry through in future chapters. But anyway, peeps, that's the last thing I want to say. Till next time, have a good day. Let me know if you have anything to say in the comments below.